Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Knitting with Annie. I'm Annie Lepton of Boho Chic Fiber Co. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Thursday morning. I usually try to do these on Wednesdays, but life gets a little crazy sometime. We have had some problems in our kitchen lately, and the lack of being able to cook mixed with not sleeping well at night lately has been kind of rough. So first our cooktop wasn't working. We had a problem with that. And then they came out to fix that. And like the day before they came out, there was a problem with our fridge as well. So once I could finally start cooking on my cooktop, now our fridge is unplugged and thawing out. And so it's just like kind of chaos in our kitchen. And I just have not been sleeping well. I think I've just been a little stressed out at night and can't turn my mind off very well, but I'm here today and I'm on my second cup of coffee and I'm ready to start the day. I just dropped the kids off at the bus and I have a few questions to answer today and a couple things to share as well. And so let's just dive right in. So I'll start with one of your questions. The first question I wanted to go through is, someone was wondering how to choose the right sweater, size. They said, my sweaters never turn out the right size or to fit like in the photos that I see. They just never fit correctly on me. What am I doing wrong? How do I choose the right sweater size? So there's a few things that we could go through on this. One of the questions that I get pretty frequently emailed to me about my pattern, just my patterns and patterns in general, is people are wondering, is the size listed in the pattern what it's going to be when it's done, or is that the size bust you recommend it for? Like, so for example, if it says 40 inches in the pattern, is that the finished size, or is that for a 40-inch bust, what you recommend? And every designer does things a little bit differently. There's no one way to word it in your pattern, but what I do is I always include the finished dimensions of the pattern in mine. So that 40-inch bust would be the finished size of the sweater. And then under that, in most of my patterns, I will usually include the intended ease, so what it's designed to fit with. So for example, this sweater that I just released is called Chevy Folk, and this one I knit a 40-inch bust for myself, which I have like a 34-ish, 34, 35, depending on the time of the month, inch bust when I measure it out. And this pattern is intended for about I think I said 4 to 6 or 6 to 8 inches of positive ease, which means extra room in the bust. And so and then you also want to measure your sleeves and make sure that the sleeve circumference on the pattern you're choosing works for your body as well. But I, when I do a drop shoulder, I typically like about 6 inches of positive ease on my bust because I like it to be a little bit loose, but not crazy loose. So that's a way, if a pattern does not include the intended ease, then you might want to email and ask what the model in the picture is wearing to gauge it better. But usually, at least in my patterns, I always say it should usually say either finished dimensions or something like it's designed to fit a bust this size. But I like to do the finished dimensions because I feel like you can always take a measure to that exact size and see what you like the fit of. The other thing to think about is just double checking and making sure your gauge is correct before you get started. That'll allow it to be the correct size for you as well. And if you're still having trouble deciding, do I want 2 inches extra or 4 or 6, like in the bust, something that's good to do is, if you have some sweaters at home already, they can be fast fashion from anywhere. It doesn't have to be hand knit. If you like the fit of them and it's a similar style, so let's say you want to knit a raglan sweater with the increases here. If you have a sweater like that at home with kind of similar shaping, and you really like the fit of that, you can measure that out and see what the dimensions of that one are, and then try to pick the closest to that in whatever pattern you're following. So that's a really good way to gauge. And then once you have knit a few sweaters and you know what you like, you can just jot those measurements down. I have knit like 100 sweaters at this point probably, and so I really have a pretty good gauge of what I personally like to wear. If something's oversized, how oversized do I like it? I know my upper arm measurements that I like, that's not too tight. I know when I like it fitted, I know when I like it loose, the sizes that I like. So as you're knitting projects, you can, if you're working on Ravelry, you can put it in the notes section on each project. That way you can go back and check it later, or just keep like a document on your computer or something that has like the measurements that you like for different designs, and that can help you going forward too. So yeah, I hope that helps. And always measure yourself. Don't be shy. If you're not feeling great about your measurements, don't choose a sweater size that you wish you were. Really, you want it to actually fit your body well. So you want to just take your measurements as what they are and go from there. And you should hopefully have a sweater that fits you pretty well in the end. So I hope that was helpful to you in deciding. Okay, so another question that I had was, someone was wondering if I had a favorite local yarn shop. I live on Cape Cod. We've been here about 2 years now, and we were only here for like less than a year, like maybe 8 months or so before like the whole lockdown happened and everything. And so I haven't been to too many on the Cape. I have been to 2 yarn shops here. I've been to sorry, I wrote it down because I knew I'd forget the name of it. In Sandwich. I live in Cotuit, which is part of Barnstable. And in Sandwich is like a town or two over. It's not very far away. There's a little yarn shop called, I think it's called the Black Pearl, something Pearl. I meant to look it up, sorry. But it's in Sandwich. You could look it up, Pearl with P-U-R-L. And that was a really cute little shop. I actually went like during the whole lockdown situation with a neighbor friend of mine. And I got some yarn there, and I just finally knit it up and have a sweater coming out in that next month, I think, or at the end of this month. But that was a great little yarn shop. I enjoyed that if you're near Sandwich. The other one that I've been to is Salt Yarn Studio, and they are in Dennis. I'm not sure if it's Dennis or Dennisport, but that area. And they're wonderful, very friendly staff, great little shop as well. I taught a class there last year before the lockdown, an embroidering on your knits class, and that was really fun. Yeah, it's a great little shop. It's in a cute little area. They are actually going to be there's a yarn crawl going on this fall. I'm not sure if it's like all of Massachusetts or just the Cape, but I know they are going to take part in that, and they're going to be actually hosting some of my designs. So if you're in the area, if you live on Cape Cod or you live in New England and you want something to do, I don't know the rules. They may have a certain number of people allowed in the store and masking and stuff like that, but I'm sure you could find it out on their website. They are going to be part of that yarn crawl, and they have about 8 or 10 of my patterns. I sent them the samples. They're going to have them up in the store on display. So I know they have several of my Brooklyn tweed patterns, a few Barocco ones maybe, just a different assortment of sweaters and shawls and things. And so they're going to be on display in the store. So if you're interested, you could go and check them out in person and try them on, or just see what they look like. They also are going to I designed a sweater in collaboration with them that is my next design coming out next week. And I don't have it here because they have it in the shop right now, but I designed it kind of for them and for the yarn crawl. And that one is knit in Brooklyn Tweed Peary, which is the fingering weight yarn. And it's a really cute little, I don't want to give too much away, I guess, but it's a cute little slightly cropped fitted sweater. with some neat stitch patterns on it. And the name is kind of inspired by the sea and boating and stuff, which is kind of appropriate for Cape Cod. So yeah, so if you're in town, swing by. I know that I'm gonna release the pattern on the 16th, which is either just the beginning of the yarn crawl or in the middle of it, but you could definitely check out more of that on their website. That one's Salt Yarn Studio. And I really they're very nice there. I like that shop. Those are the only two I've actually been to on the Cape. I know there are more. I know there's one in P-Town, in Provincetown, way at the end. Like Cape Cod kind of comes out like this. Like in Michigan, they do the mitten, and on Cape Cod, we do like the arm. And like if this is the mainland here and this is Cape Cod, I kind of live like here, like before the middle, in Barnstable. And all the way at the end of the Cape is Provincetown. It's a really fun little city, and they have a yarn shop there as well. And I don't know the name of it, and I've always wanted to go, and I've seen it, but they weren't open last time I went. It may be seasonal. They may only be open in the summers because they get a lot of foot traffic going through in the summers. I'm not sure if they're open year round, but that looks like a cute little spot too. Yeah, so besides that, there are a couple other shops that I've been to in the past. We've moved a lot. We started out in Massachusetts. When I was in Boston, there was a little place called Windsor Buttons, and it's right downtown. It's at like the Park Street shop stop on the T. If you like get out of Park Street and you kind of go down towards like the theater district, that direction, and you take a left. It's one of those first few streets after the stop. I think it's like 2 or 3 streets down. That was called Windsor Button, and that has like a lot of buttons and then some yarn too. And that's when I first like really got into knitting. I really loved that little shop. And there was nothing that special about it, but it was just, I think I just got into knitting. And there was another one in Porter Square area in Cambridge that I went to. I can't remember the name of that one. I don't know if it's still around. And then when we moved to Maine, I often went to Knitwit Yarn Shop in Portland, and that was a really cute little shop. I know they're like the flagship for Quince & Co., which is in Maine, and they have a lot of other yarns there as well. They were a very cute, sweet little spot. And I also went to Port Fiber when I was in Portland, which I think she does carry just a tad bit of yarn, but it's more spinning fiber and things to do with felting and fiber. So, but that's when I got into spinning, and so I would go there as well. The other one in Maine, I think it's in Bath, is Halcyon Yarn, and I really liked it there too. They have yarn and fiber as well, and I forgot about that place until right now. And Bath is such a cute little town right on the water. There's little ice cream shops, and I loved going there. So I would bring my kids when they were like babies and really little. So I just remembered that one right now. So if you're in Maine, check out those places. And then when I was in Michigan, there were several that I went to, but the one that I just loved and I miss to this day was Spun. It's called Spun in Ann Arbor. And we lived about 45, 50 minutes or so from Ann Arbor. And I loved Ann Arbor. I'm hoping that one day my kids go to school there or something, so I have an excuse to go back. Where we were in Michigan was kind of, to me, kind of boring and very suburban, and I just didn't love where we were. But I love college towns, that young, kind of vibrant city. Places like that often have vegan restaurants that I can eat at, and lots of coffee shops. It's just really fun little areas. And that shop is right in the Carytown district, which I named my sweater Carytown after that area, which is one of my most popular patterns to date. I can link it below so you can check it out if you haven't seen it. It's got a cable on the front and kind of striping with garter rows, and it's this mustard yellow. It's a great sweater. And I named it after that area because I just love that part of Ann Arbor so much. And Spun is a great shop. That's where I became friendly with the owners, Carol and Peter, maybe. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting his name. I know Carol is the woman, and her husband owns it with her, and they're both wonderful and so kind. And I taught my first class or two there that I ever taught. So I was really thankful that they gave me the opportunity to teach when I had never taught before. And yeah, they're great. They recently moved to a different, I think they're in the same building. They were upstairs. I think now they're downstairs. They got a bigger space. So I hope one day to be able to go back and see them again. And I love that shop. And yeah, let's see. Other shop, the only other shop that I can like remember that I've been to that I really loved was I was filming a class for Craftsy. I have an embroidery class that I did with them, and I was out in Denver for that. And that class is still available online if you're interested in checking it out. That whole experience was amazing. It was the only time I've ever been to Colorado, and it was just so beautiful. And I literally just drove like from the airport to the city, but it was just so beautiful. I cannot wait to go back and really spend some time in the mountains and stuff. But I did have, whatever night they'd have like their knit night, it was like during the week, like a Tuesday or Wednesday or something. I like Ubered over from my hotel and I went to their knit night, and the shop is just wonderful. It's adorable. They have so many good yarns. I loved it. But what I really loved is the group of like girls, ladies that were there for the knit night. They were all so friendly. Nobody knew me. I'm kind of introverted and awkward, and I feel like I'm always a little shy when I don't know anyone, so I was really nervous to go. But everyone was like so welcoming and nice. I like almost couldn't believe it. I was like, is this like a Colorado thing that people are just like very friendly? But they were all so wonderful. They like invited me to go with them, like to get ice cream after. It was just, they were so nice. Everyone was like really fun, and I really enjoyed that. And I just went the one time, but they were wonderful. The owners were wonderful. And so ever since the lockdown happened, I try to support yarn shops that I care about and so I will buy occasionally online from them, and in Ann Arbor Spun as well, because I just feel like these days people aren't getting into their yarn shops as much, and it's kind of sad. And I want to make sure they stay around throughout this whole pandemic and everything. So if you can support your local yarn shop, I love ordering stuff online as much as the next person, but try to think about if you can get it maybe from like your yarn shop instead of maybe directly from the yarn company sometimes, because that can really help support them and keep them open. So yeah, so those are some of the yarn shops that I have loved. If you have like amazing ones that you love, even if they just sell online, put it in the comments below. Maybe everyone can kind of check out a new place. I think that'd be fun for everyone to see. So yeah, so those are some yarn shops I love. And another question, the last question that I had before I share a couple things, is somebody was asking about project bags, if I use project bags, what my favorite ones are, which ones I like, that sort of thing. So I thought I would do a little show and tell and show you some of my project bags. I do keep pretty much all of my knitting whips in a project bag. Oftentimes there's usually just one that's like out on my counter in my kitchen, because that's where I do a lot of my work here, but I also do a lot upstairs at my kitchen table, and I keep it up on the counter so that I can, like, as I'm cooking and stuff, sneak in rows and things. So there's usually one sitting out on the counter, just like out, but it's usually on top of a bag. It has a bag, but it's usually just out. But yeah, so I figured I'd show a few of my favorites today. So I do have, I have two of these are the Fringe supply, and I don't know if she's making them anymore, but it's just a small bag with a drawstring, and it's kind of small. It really only holds like a smaller shawl or like the sleeves of a sweater or something. And most of my bags are small, and once a sweater gets big, that's when I end up just leaving it out, because I don't have very many big bags. I do have some, but so this one's great. It has a little handle, so if you're walking and knitting, you can put it on your arm and kind of pull the yarn out and knit on it like that as you're walking. And I don't do that a ton, but because usually if I'm walking the dog and I need to like pay attention. But if I'm going on like a leisurely walk in the evening, sometimes we'll walk the dog just down the street and back, my husband and I, and I'll like bring a bag like this and just work on it like that. So I have a couple of those bags. This is one that I think my most recent bag that I got. It's from Nerdbird Makery, and it's great. It has a bunch of pockets, 2 pockets. It's a little bit bigger than the fringe bag, so I find it can hold more of a sweater. It also scrunches in at the top. It's got these little handles, which are great. This is more of like a cute purse kind of bag, which like if I'm going out somewhere and I want to like look nice, I guess I would use this one. More so, these are kind of like more like my work horse kind of bags. But yeah, I love this one. The print, I just couldn't resist it. I don't need any more bags, but when I saw this one, I loved the Monstera leaves with the crafting supplies and the yarn. I just like love this one. It's so cute, very well made. Totally recommend these bags from Nerdbird. Oh, that plant needs to be watered. Oops. So the next one, this is another one that I've had for a while, but I love it as well. It's got the double straps up top, and it's twill and print. And you can kind of see up close, there's this gold kind of like floral or like leaf kind of pattern, which is really pretty. This one I like because it has little pockets on the outside on both sides. And then on the inside, it's pretty big too. It's similar to the one I just showed you. It's a good amount of space in there. And this one I think too, she has some really beautiful fabrics and prints. And this is like really soft. I'm not sure what it is, but it's super soft. Yeah, so this is a great one for like smaller sweater kind of shawl projects as well. Another one that I have, this is Attenti is the company that makes these. And it's a mother and daughter business, and they're so much fun. They're wonderful. I hope to go to knitting events someday in the future because they're great. I can't remember their names at the moment, but I met them at a TNNA, which is like the trade needle show. Back when I was living in Michigan, it was in like somewhere in Ohio, Cleveland or Columbus or something, I don't know. But they went to it and I loved their bags. They have like these beautiful prints, really funky. Like some of them are like, they have like fake fur and like fuzzy and like animal print, like really fun, funky prints. Like the inside of this one is like cheetah, which I really like cheetah print. So this is like a super fun, this is a similar size to the other ones to carry around. And I actually have this in a big one as well. Let me grab that real quick. Yeah, so this is the bag that I originally got from them. It's like a carpet bag style. It's really big. This is what I would use. This is like my sweater bag. And I honestly, I don't use it much now. Oh, there's some needles in there that I lost. Let's see what I got in here. I can't even remember what yarn this is from so long, but I found some needles, yay. This is what I bring often when I go to shows. Like I brought this to Vogue and stuff because it holds a lot. It's really big. I love it for like a big sweater project. I don't use it in my house much because like I said, when my projects get big, I just like leave them out. But if I was going like someday, if I ever go to like a coffee shop again to work, that's a great one to bring. And that company's Attenti, and they're wonderful. They're great. And then I have like a bunch of little bags. Like I got this one from Neighborhood Fiber Co. It says like community, which I really loved. And then I have like a bunch of random bags that I use. Like this held my, like I don't have to I don't need to buy like, I don't feel like I need to buy like the latest expensive, cool knitting bag. Like at this point I have plenty of bags and I really don't want to buy any more unless like recently, like I saw this one and I like couldn't resist, but I have enough that I really don't need to be buying more. So I just use bags like this has, this came with like my comforter in it. And so I like it, so I use that. Let me see what else. Like if I get free bags, I'll get free bags. Like when you order clothes sometimes, I got this little one at that Salt Yarn Studio that I told you about. And I'll keep like notions and stuff in here. Yeah, so too many bags. The other thing that I will do is if projects get big, and I don't have any like big bags on hand because I really only have that one that's like really big enough to hold a sweater. What I often use is I bought these like a few years ago. They're just these canvas bags. And I tie-dyed this one. Some of them are just white, some of them are tie-dyed. I did a bunch of them tie-dyed. And these are actually my grocery bags that I bring to the grocery store. And so I have like 20 of these bags because I do like really big trips when I go to the grocery store. And so if I can't find like a big enough bag, I like often have my projects in these as well. They're not super cute, but like they're functional. So yeah, use whatever you have. And I usually have like 3 or so projects going at once. And so bags are definitely needed to keep everything tidy and keep the needles in the right place and all that sort of thing. So I do love my project bags. If you have fun ones that you like, leave a comment below if you want, and other people can check those out. And let's see, I think that's it. I did want to share my sweater, my latest sweater design. I just released this pattern and the hat that goes with it this week. So maybe I'll get a little closer to show you. So this one is Chevy Folk. And as you can see, it's got these chevrons. There's 2 sections of chevrons. This one's a little thicker and more ornate than this one. And then in the middle, there's the diamonds. And then again on the bottom, the chevrons. It's a boxy drop shoulder pullover. The back is the same, so you get patterning all the way around. On the side, it might be hard to see, but it's kind of hard to see in this yarn, but on the sides, there's these columns of twisted stitches as well that run up all the way up the edge of the sleeve here like that. So it's just like an extra little detail. This one is knit flat, and that allows you to knit. Sometimes when you have a big motif like this and you want it centered in your sweater, it can be hard to judge exactly when to start the armhole shaping if you were to knit it in the round. So whenever I have a really big motif like this that I want to make sure everyone's sweaters it's centered on, like with the different grading of the sizes, I will knit them flat, and then all you have to do is leave open the amount for your specific armhole, which makes it really easy if you want to make a bigger size sleeve, like maybe you want your sleeve the next size up, then you can just leave open that area to pick up stitches for the sleeve. So they're great for modifying, super cozy. It's not that much seaming, it's just the side a little bit, and it's really easy. And the neckline is boat neckline. I give directions for like how much I like to leave open, but you can always make it smaller and work more before you bind off stitches as well. Like I said, there's the twisted stitch pattern, which is a really fun technique. It's easy, it's super addicting. Once you start to see like the pattern emerge, you just want to like keep going and see it in its entirety. So it's a really fun one. I think I knit the sweater like really fast. I know I knit the front and back in like a week or less. It was just super fun. And then the yarn, I love this yarn. This was new to me. This is Hudson and West Forge yarn. And it is so, I love it. It's so squishy. It's like a medium, it's not super, super, super soft, but it's soft enough to wear and be cozy. It's not scratchy at all. It's not like super soft merino, but it's so comfy. It's merino and Corriedale. So the Corriedale is maybe what gives it a little more of that earthy feel, but I love that. This color is fawn, I believe, and it is like the most beautiful, like off-white, light beigey kind of color, which I love. This will go with everything in my wardrobe. I love it. And I was surprised how far, I only needed 3 skeins for mine, and usually for a sweater like this, it would be 4. So the yardage is pretty good. 235, yeah. I was just surprised like how far it went. So I have 2 extra, so I'm definitely gonna get more and do something else with these. I definitely recommend the yarn, and I think they're doing kits as well. I can link that below, at least their website. I'll link below for you to check that out. And the hat, I did a hat pattern to kind of go with this, and I wanted to do a different yarn. So I had a leftover skein of Amherst from Valley Yarns, which is like Webb's Yarns online, yarn.com. That's their own brand. And it's the same chevron patterns. You see the double thick one and then the thin one up here. And I didn't have enough room, obviously, to add like the diamonds, but I used the same chevron patterns. And the crown shaping on this one I really love. It kind of looks almost like a flower on top because of the chevrons coming together. You can see that. So it's super cozy. It's got a folded brim, which makes it just cozy. And this one is available in 2 sizes. It has an adolescent size and an adult size. And you could easily just move up a needle to make it a little bit looser if you were knitting it for somebody with a larger head. And the same thing, you could go down, you could use a sport weight yarn and smaller needles and make it even smaller for kids. They're great. I love this color, so I'm gonna be wearing this a lot this winter, and I truly love the sweater. I don't know how well it's gonna do or not, but I don't even care because I wanna wear it all the time. So yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. Let me just check real quick. Yep, that's all I have. So these patterns, as always, when I release a pattern, they're on sale at first, and these are on sale for 25% off on Ravelry and my website through September 11th at midnight. And I guess that's all today. So thanks for hanging out, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye.